Got Greg back round to revalue the house. I said, I've had the kitchen done, Greg. He went, yeah, it's nice, yeah. I said, Lord Mayor opened it. He went, yeah, Lord Mayor's a sort of ceremonial role, really, isn't it? I was like, yes, the ceremony happened to be opening my fucking kitchen, Greg. It was a commemorative plate, Greg. He reckons, after costs, the most I've increased the value of the house is 10 grand. Most. I'm still 10, if not 20 grand down. Greg cannot win. There's nothing more I can do to the house. Can't build up, can't build sideways, it's a mid-terrace. I realised the only thing I could do now to increase the value of my house was to increase the value of all the houses in the area. Now, let me tell you about King's Heath, if you don't know about it. I'm sure lots of you are from King's Heath. This is King's Heath. It's a lovely place. We've got a lovely high street. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote a lot of the Lord of the Rings novels there. He based Gollum on someone he met in Poundland. Laura Mavula's from there. She wrote a beautiful song. She's wonderful, Laura. She wrote a beautiful song called Green Garden, which is about King's Heath, because we've got 2 lovely parks. There's a dogging hotspot in one of those parks, which is where Tolkien wrote the less successful novel, The Lord of the Rims. Lots of lovely businesses. Our local pub, the Hare and Hounds. We've got a lovely local venue. We've got a pizza restaurant called Polly. We've got a lovely bar called Fletcher's. Gorgeous little bakery called Greg's. Print shop called Precision Imaging, which I love, and I use quite a lot. And I went past not long ago, and they said, oh, Joe, we've just done this charity print. Do you mind holding it and taking a photo? So I did this photo, and I got home, and they'd emailed me, and they said, oh, you had your eyes closed in the photo, but not to worry, you don't have to come back. We'll just, with your permission, Photoshop the image. I don't think they're very good at Photoshopping at Precision Imaging, so. Little sloth boy over here. Ketamine's really kicked in there, hasn't it? We've got a launderette that I've become obsessed with in lockdown. So I love her. I did something to this jumper. I don't know, I'd like sort of stained it or something. And I tried loads of things. I just didn't manage it. And I went in, and she's very brummy and very sort of patronising is the word I'd use. Because I took it in, and she went, what have you done to this? And I was like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. And she was like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll sort it. I'll call you in the morning. She rang me in the morning. This is verbatim how the conversation went. She went, is that Mr. Lycett? And I said, yeah. And she went, I've made it fucking worse. It's exactly how she said it. I've made it fucking worse. I'm obsessed with it, absolutely obsessed with it. It's a nice place to live. We've got a nice Facebook group, the King's Heath Neighbourhood Watch group. I'm sure you've got one in your local area. I'm sure yours is as batshit as ours. This is a sample post. There's a serial pooper who keeps going on Heathfield Road. Definitely human, and from the looks of it, likely the same person. Definitely human, likely the same person. What empirical data are we using for this, please? Oh, that's Martin again. We're very funny people. This wasn't a funny post, but they said the King's Heath Pet Centre was robbed last night. They broke in and stole a bunch of stock and money from the till. Horrible. First comment on this, any leads? It's so efficient, it's beautiful. I'll never write a better joke in my life. It's a nice place to live, King's Heath, nice place. Something made me love it a little less. About 4 years ago, I got in a cab, got into an Uber. And he was the lovely driver. The driver said to me, just started with Uber. I said, how are you finding it? And he said, oh, it's wonderful. I'd lost all my confidence. And now I can put food on the table for the kids, and I feel so much better about myself. And I said, how do you feel about King's Heath? Because he lives there as well. And he said, oh, it's a lovely place to live, isn't it? But, you know, we do have our problems. You know, in schools, they're teaching kids it's okay to be gay. I was like, shit. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with quite a lot of homophobia recently. I've discovered that someone in my family is homophobic, which is really disappointing, I suppose is the word, because that's not who we are as a family. We're not homophobic. We're racists! I won't tell you which family member it is. I'll just tell you I've got 3 aunties. I've got Auntie Susan, Auntie Deborah, and Auntie Gay Marriage. And she's a born-again Christian, which is fine, I don't mind, be religious, whatever, but born-again is the gayest of the religions she could have chosen. It's so ostentatious. I'm born again, it's so over the top. Literally means you came to it in later life, that's all it means. By that definition, I'm born-again anal beads.
The worst gig was on a Virgin flight for Virgin Atlantic. I wasn't allowed to talk about it contractually for a while. I am now. They're wankers. I agreed to it on the basis the people on the flight would know some comedy was happening. They didn't. So it took off between Edinburgh and London, it was. Cabin crew did their announcements, and then they were just like, Joe, perform. So I stood up. Front row were a load of businessmen on laptops. At one point, one of them did laugh, and I thought, well, I've done well there. Then I realised he was watching Friends. Second row were a Muslim family with children, all wearing hijabs. I'm sure very nice. Probably not into poo out knob in gags. Somebody tried to walk out. I was meant to do 10 minutes. I did 2 minutes and 43 seconds. They helpfully told me afterwards. And I don't check Twitter. I don't search my own name on Twitter. But Mum does. She found this tweet, which was just on a Virgin flight between Edinburgh and London. And one of the cabin crew got up and did some shit comedy. Lovely. Well, that'll go on the DVD, won't it? Smash it. Yes. Johnny, in the TA. Did not know what to do about him. For a while. And then I realised I know exactly what to do about you, Johnny. I'll use Claire's wisdom, I'll use Claire's philosophy, I'll be ever so slightly weird with you. And I don't think this is this weird. I said to him, I don't like the name Johnny. I'm going to call you René. And then every time he said something hurtful, often it was misogynist, it just made me think that he was the butler to the Duchess. And it just took the sting out of everything he tried. God knows how it worked, but he hated it. I managed it maximum 4 times. We were in a nightclub that evening. Woman walked past us, and he leant over to me and went, look at those great jugs. About a woman. It's the 21st century. The only time I've said, look at those great jugs, is in the glassware section of John Lewis. It's the only time that's acceptable now, I'm afraid. And I went, oh, yes, lovely jugs, René. And he grabbed me, pulled me to one side. He went, right, let's get this sorted before the rest of the stag do continues. You've got 2 choices. We can be friends, or you can keep calling me René. I'll take route B, please, René. I didn't. I agreed to it reluctantly, because I was trying to be diplomatic and we were sharing the same hostel together. Lads. And I just avoided him for a couple of days. That's what I did. I did go into the group the one day. I said, I'm just off to the shop to get some shampoo. Does anyone want anything? And he went, oh, can you get me some condoms? So I bought him a pack of condoms. And he looked at them and he went, oh, I don't like these. They're too tight. Any condom you buy, you can fit over your own head. If it's too tight, you have a medical emergency, I'd argue. Maybe he's using them wrong, some sort of sleeping bag system, I don't know. Love it, me little condom. I don't know. But he came out the shower the one day, he had his body out, a little towel round him, and I spotted a tattoo on his hip there. And I don't have a problem with tattoos. I don't have any myself. But it was a quote. And you know how I feel about quotes. Claire wanted a quote tattoo at one point, but she doesn't really read. And she said to me, like, do you know any good quotes? And I was like, well, I'll Google some. I found one that she quite liked. It was, I believe in one thing only, the power of human will. And she's like, oh, that's lovely. Who's that by? Stalin. I'd Googled quotes by evil people. That's what I'd done. She could have had it. So I get it, get a quote tattoo, fine, do whatever, I don't care. But just make sure you've read the book the quote's from. Because I said to Johnny, oh, can I see what that quote is? And he went, oh, yeah. A few of the lads in the unit who got drunk and got tattoos. Can't remember what it means exactly. It says, cogito ergo sum, which I think means I think I am. Now, some of us may know this. It means I think, therefore I am. So he was close. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, Johnny, you do know that quote's by a guy called Descartes. You do know Descartes' first name was René. What? I was like, Google it. And he Googled it. Oh, fuck off. We should scratch it out. In for a penny, in for a pound. Says, you do know Descartes was a very prominent homosexual. He wasn't. I just made it up. And what that quote means is, I think, therefore I am. And what it means is, even if you think just a little bit that you're gay, you are gay. That's what it means. That's true. Met one of my friend's kids last year. Friend I went to university with, her daughter. I avoided this child for 4 years. She's 4 years old. I'd heard bad things. Met her last year. She's the worst person I've ever met. And I've met Eamon Holmes. I won't use her real name. That would be unfair. Let's call her Mugabe. And she was very... just spoiled
really. We were sat at dinner and she was here and she was kicking me in the legs. And at one point she caught my shin and I went, fuck. She started crying. The mum said, please don't swear in front of my child. I was like, oh, is that your child? I thought someone just condensed North Korea into a small woman, actually. Little bitch. But I've got a goddaughter who I adore. She is 11, and I think she might be a genius, because she loves painting, and I've got this office in Birmingham, so I took her to the office to do some painting, and we painted this mural on the wall, and while we were painting it, I said to her, what do you think art is, just out of curiosity? And she thought about it, and she said, well, it's trust. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she went, well, if you trust something's good, then it is. I was like, fucking hell, that's the most profound thing anyone's ever said to me from an 11-year-old. Like, have another go on the bong, what are you going to say next? When the meow meow came out, the things she was saying, extraordinary. So yes, I'm trying to be healthier. I love a full-fat Coke, and I'm on Diet Cokes now, and I'm struggling with it, really. Funnily enough, I was at a university reunion, I was drinking a Diet Coke, and I went up to a girl who I didn't know that well at university, and I was holding this Diet Coke, and I said to her, oh, hello, how are you? What are you up to now? And she went, I hate that. I hate small talk. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how conversation works with you now, then. How did the death of your father affect your sex life? Just straight on in. She said, you shouldn't be drinking that. And I said, why? Now, what I think she meant to say was, it's full of aspartame. What she actually said was, you shouldn't be drinking that. It's full of apartheid. I knew it was bad, didn't realise it was that bad. Bloody hell! I tried being a fruitarian. That's where you can only eat things that have fallen from trees. I managed one day, I had 3 cooking apples and an owl. Arguably the best joke of the show. That pissed it away in the first section. There she goes. Off she flies. Bless she. I had another version of that joke, which was 3 cooking apples and a small boy, but I felt like it was potentially too much. We're going to go to an interval shortly. Before we do that, I'd like to tell you about a little project I've been working on with the EDL, the English Defence League. Any members in? Any members? Occasionally there's a crossover with my audience with the EDL. If you're not familiar with the EDL, they don't like Muslims or hair. Those are the 2 things they despise. Muslims and hair. There was a rally last summer, a rally in Birmingham. You might have seen this picture from it. This is a girl called Sophia Khan. She was facing up to one of the EDL members with this... Yes, she's amazing, Sophia Khan. With this serenity and calmness on her face, with all this aggression from the EDL member. In the weeks preceding this rally, I discovered somebody I went to school with, who I am erroneously still friends with on Facebook, is a member of the EDL and was trying to generate support for this rally with his own Facebook group. Now, I like to troll people on social media, using various aliases that I create, so I went on as Angela Middlebin. And I wrote, hi guys, looking forward to the rally in Brum later. Think it'll be a lovely day for it. I work in PR with some high-profile right-wing and right-leaning commentators, such as Katie Hopkins, Piers Morgan, and Fern Britton. Now, Fern Britton is, I don't think, right-wing in any way, but she blocked me on Twitter, so fuck her.